Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yo, what up, what up? It's your boy Rubino.
And this DJ in the building.
And you listening to the UpNUp Podcast.
Yeah.
Wait, what are we doing?
I don't know, just listen.
Yes.
What up?
Welcome. You listening to the UpNUp Podcast. I'm your host, Rubino.
And I'm DJ man.
How you feeling, man?
And I'm good. Kind of hungry, though.
I know.
Like, you know.
Oh, well,
in the mood for like a cheesesteak or something, you know.
Well, you came to the right place. For those of you first-time listeners out there, hence the name UpNUp. This platform is created to cultivate the culture, share stories of amazing individuals who are grinding, you know what I mean, going after their goals, their visions, their dreams, and staying on the up and up, right?
For sure.
Before we get to it, I want to also shout out all the viewers, the listeners, the supporters who just been tapped in, you know what I'm saying, giving us that encouragement and continue to give us your reviews. Make sure you subscribe and rate our episodes. You can find them on YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes. All that. So getting to it, we always got a special guest, right?
Always.
We never come up short with that.
Never.
And today's guest, man, I'm excited for this one. I'm always excited.
Always.
But for this one, man, I say he's this man is someone who's paving the way for young entrepreneurs out here in the city of Seattle and beyond. I would say he's a man who definitely displays what it means to live life on the up and up, for sure, through his work ethic, through everything he's been doing and will continue to do. He's someone who's built an establishment that I would say is known as one of Seattle's best kept secrets. And we're going to release that secret today. And ultimately, I would say he's a positive force in the community, and he's making a name for himself in the dining and food service industry. Our guest today is none other than owner and operator of King Philly Cheesesteaks, Teddy Leake. Can we get a round of applause for my guy?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. How you doing, fam?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm chilling, man. Pleasure to have you, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We appreciate it, man. So I'm sure you're familiar with the show. You know how we usually start things off with the quote of the day from my guy over here.
Yep.
Mr.
All right,
Quotes himself.
Today's quote, I try to remember it this time instead of read it, but whatever good things that we build end up building us.
Anonymous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Jim Ron.
Jim Ron.
That's who it is.
Okay. So the things that we build kind of build who we are.
Yeah.
Okay. And to kind of give you the framework on that, so we always bring the quote of the day, obviously to get our minds right, get the vibe right. But we wanted to tie directly to our guest's story, and what you're doing and what you're providing. And so with King Philly Cheesesteaks, if you can just, describe to the people who are listening and watching, what type of dining experience they would experience when they go there, and also what kind of things you guys offer and provide when they walk through that door.
Yeah, so we try to offer, first and foremost, our customer service. I try to make sure that, our customer service, is on full display when you walk in, and then, I feel like we got probably one of the best cheesesteaks in the city. So
you can say the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
The best.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, so I mean, people come, mainly it's like fast food, people coming in, but we try to put our own touch on it. So
try to be intentional.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
For sure. So let's get into like Teddy the man. Who are you, man? So it was like the upbringing,
Well, I mean, I've been in Seattle since '85, so I'm pretty much Seattle. I grew up out here, went to school out here. My whole life is just in Seattle, so everything that I do revolves around Seattle.
Yeah.
And so, let's see, I grew up in Rainier Vista, and I was living in the Vistas for, I want to say, since 2000, something like that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so with the restaurant, I felt like whatever I did, it had to have been South Seattle. You know.
Where you grew up.
Yeah.
And
Philly.
that's crazy, man. Because a lot of people, you know, they want to give back to their communities, right? They want to stay in touch. They want to stay, you know, like they talk about rappers get rich and leave the hood or whatever the case is. But you found a way to kind of not leave, right?
Yeah.
And still be able to do your thing.
Yeah.
And evolve, but still stay home, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, with the restaurant, you know, I just felt like everybody just neglects South Seattle, and so, you know, I made it my purpose to actually bring something to the community, to South Seattle. So
yeah. No, that's positive, man. I mean, a lot of people a lot of viewers, you know, and a lot of listeners are from South Seattle.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure I don't know. It's just dope, man. It's just dope to say, yo, man, this is where I grew up. This is what made me who I am, and I deserve it. I owe it to the city that built me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm sure you can relate to that too.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
for sure.
Always, especially the spots like right down the street, you know.
Yeah, off
Yeah.
top, for
So
sure.
it's like,
You know, they you know, as far as food options in South Seattle, is like all just, you know, it's like McDonald's, Jack in the Box, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like there's really nothing in that area for, you know, they just put no money into it until like it started getting gentrified.
yeah,
And
for
so,
real.
you know, I'm just hoping that I'm there for, you know, the long haul.
Yeah.
You know, people come support and all that.
Yeah, you plant your roots, man, and
Yeah.
and so obviously growing up in Seattle and South Seattle, you kind of talked about the time you spent there, but like, how did it shape kind of your hustle? You know what I'm saying, and how you decided to go into this venture? You know, because I'm sure that you've seen a lot of things growing up there that kind of shaped your mind into thinking, you know, I can get it for myself.
Yeah.
You know, so how was that? How did you get influenced living out there?
Well, I mean, in the early 90s, it was like really bad. Like, you know, it was, you know, there was just everything out there, drugs, you know, gangs, all that and stuff. So my early life, you know, basically went towards, you know, bad stuff, basically.
Yeah.
And so what I there was just a point in my time where I just realized that I couldn't go down, you know, that route or whatever. So, you know, I always had it in my head that I had to do something that was positive, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, you know, I dabbled a little bit in like the bad stuff.
Yeah.
And once I had my mind focused on doing something positive, you know, everything just seemed like it just falls into place.
Yeah. Universe just starts working.
Yeah.
Starts
Yeah.
working for you.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, 'cause, you know, gangs and all that stuff, you know, it's good for the moment, but, you know, when you're down on your luck or, you know, tough times, something like that, it's not there no more, you know. So, you know,
It's like a false sense of like comfort, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when you're in there, you're like, okay, these people got my back.
Yeah.
You know, this is my family, and that might be true. But you talked about it. It's like for the long haul, long term. Is
Yeah.
it going to be sustainable? You know. So now let's take it from there. Now, you obviously got that entrepreneur bug, that spirit. It's just, you know, it just came within you. Why food service industry? Why not even just cheesesteaks, but why going into the restaurant service?
well, all that came about. So I used to live on Graham a couple years ago, and there was one night I remember where I was just starving, and it was like 9-10 o'clock at night, and my only options were McDonald's and Jack in the Box.
Fast food.
Yeah, and so, you know, I just felt like there was a problem there. You know, I thought of a solution, and, you know, that's how that thought was born.
Late night munchies, man.
Yeah.
I feel it.
That's how it usually happens, though. You know, something really grows when you're trying to fix a problem.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people went through that too.
Yeah.
I mean, I did too, where I'm like, man, driving home, and I'm like, the only place I could go is Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's dope.
Usually you just see a void, you know.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of shit gets created, you know.
Yeah.
You see where something
See the
needs
problem.
You
Yeah.
see the problem. You like, let me be the solution.
Yeah.
And then I guess that's kind of how you kind of develop that. Were you always into culinary arts? Did you cook growing up, or what was that like?
Nah, not at all. Yeah.
I'm always interested to know, like, you know, you obviously went to like culinary art school and shit. But
Nah, the whole reason I picked the Philly is because it's like the easiest thing to make, and you know, you can train people to make it. So it's not like you got to be like, you know, super dope at cooking and all that. So, you know, that was the whole reason I chose that.
Okay. So, you know, we had Solomon Doobie on our show at one point, and a lot of things that he talked about was he envisioned how he wanted it to look, right, and how he wanted his restaurant to look, right. So for those who are watching and listening, because that's really what we want people to pull from your story in terms of learning, okay, I want to start my own business, I want to get my own restaurant. What are some of those first steps that you took to where you're like, okay, obviously I need a space, but just coming up with the idea and the concept?
Well, first, I got inspired by Solomon, because I seen the struggle that he went through and how he, you know, pulled up his boots and just made it happen. You know, I seen it from when it was the mini mart to, you know, him tearing down the place to building it back up. And so with that, you know, that just, you know, showed me that I can do it too. Yeah. So, you know, if you guys don't know Solomon, you guys should get to know Solomon. He's
go check him out on episode 1.
Episode
for sure.
1.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
For sure.
But so, you know, when I was first, you know, I've had other ventures where I try to you know, go through, and the biggest problems is trying to lease the space. Okay. Because I've been through so much application process. Like everything seemed like it was going good, and then out of nowhere, you know, they just say, "Oh, we're going with somebody else," or something like that. Yeah. And part of that is probably because I'm young. They probably have no faith in me or something like that. And the other part is probably my appearance. I feel like, you know, I feel like it's my skin color, basically. Yeah. Because
talk about that, man, because that's real. People. Real. There's barriers, bro. Yeah. They put barriers up, you know, and we come in there with bright ideas, and then they start hitting you with all these fucking doors and shit. They start locking them on you, you know. So
with the gentrification, she was talking about. So it was like around that same time you trying to, you know,
and you know, that was like my biggest it was just hard for me to you know, get in the door or whatever. But once I got in the door, you know, you got to deal with like contractors. I dealt with a lot of contractors where I feel like they were just trying to get over on me, trying to charge me way too much. You know, this is all stuff that I don't know. Like, so basically, if I don't know something, I'm gonna. I never ask anybody, because everything is on the internet. So you don't you know, I don't feel anybody that says, oh, I don't have anybody to look up to give me guidance and all that, because every single thing is on the internet. Anything you need to know is on the internet.
Information wise, for sure.
Yeah. So, you know, everybody's story, you know, everybody that made it, their story is basically on the internet. So, you know, anything that I would look up. So if I had a contractor and they try to charge me way too much, then, you know, I'm on the internet for like 4 or 5 hours trying to figure out, is this a good deal? Is it not? Whatever. So, you know, but I had a problem where I actually got a contractor. I paid him. He was supposed to put up my hood, and what he ended up doing, you know, their whole thing just looked super professional. So, you know, I thought, you know, okay, you know, I'm dealing, you know, I'm going in the right direction or whatever. So what ended up happening was they took my money and just disappeared for like 7 months.
Wow.
Dang. Yeah, so
it went ghost on you.
Yeah. And
wow.
You know, every time I hit them up, they wouldn't respond. I text them, then they'll be like, "Oh, permit process, whatever, you know, it's taking too long." But what I realized was it was only supposed to take like 2 months. So you know, for
Dang.
7 months, you know, I'm in there paying rent and all that. You know, I'm not open up yet. So, you know, that whole process took me like 8-9 months.
That's
Wow.
crazy. Well, like kept you going though after that, you know? Were there times where you kind of fell down a little bit and then you was like, man,
Oh
I
yeah,
gotta just
mean,
keep going?
You know, not only do I have to pay rent and all that, you know, I have to pay to live.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
You know, my bills are like, you know, just crazy. You know, for 8 months, and on top of that, I'm not making no money. So
Yeah.
you know, because I dedicated my whole time to building this restaurant, and so yeah. So I mean, contractors, you know, you got to be careful because you know I say like 60-70% of them, you know, if they see that they can get over on you, they're gonna get over on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So-
that education.
Yeah.
Like you got to learn. Like you said, everything's on the internet.
Yeah.
I always say this. Like we got a lot of resources.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's so many resources we don't know where to start.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
So then we just go to someone to give it to us. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And that's I think that's the biggest thing, especially going into business, being African American, right? Knowing that you know these roads ain't paid for us.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? You gotta learn up. And I think what you just told us and the people who are listening and watching is definitely be on your P's and Q's.
Yeah,
From
exactly.
the jump.
Yeah.
From the jump. Yeah.
For real. I've heard that a lot of times too with contractors. You gotta be on them.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, nah. And so you kind of talked about it and you touched on it. So you said, you know how people say, I don't need someone to look up to and things like that for information.
Yeah.
But what you said, you spoke about how Doobie kind of inspired you.
Yeah.
Did you have certain mentors or maybe someone, maybe from a distance that you just kind of looked at that kind of, you know, motivated you or maybe gave you some game along the way?
Yeah, that was mostly Doobie.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Okay.
you know, if I ever was stuck or I couldn't figure something out or something like that, you know, he's been through it. So you know, I would shoot him a text, hit him up, something like that. And you know, Doobie, he's always good with like answering his phone and responding. And you know, if you need help, he's there. So
I mean, support is key, bro.
Yeah.
You can't get shit done by yourself.
Exactly.
That's just the
Yeah,
plain truth.
you always need help. You always got to have a team behind you.
Yeah, talk
'cause-
about it, man.
Yeah, because you know, there's you know, when I came up with this idea, you know, there was people that were telling me it's dumb. Like the idea is just not gonna work and this and that. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And you know, I just had a feeling in my gut that you know this shit's gonna work. And so, you know, I'm blessed that from the jump it was jumping. So
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, you gotta have conviction, bro.
Yeah.
Like, there's gonna be. I always say this, like, some people aren't meant to understand your vision. You know what I'm saying? That's something that's unique to you.
Yeah.
You see it, they're not supposed to see it until it's done,
Yeah.
and then it's out there. You know, people are fucking see it to believe it, motherfuckers. You know, like
Yeah, for real.
they don't think something's possible till they see it happening. So,
Yeah.
and I think that's a powerful message, right? Like, stop worrying about what the next person's thinking of what you're trying to do with your life and your vision. You know,
Exactly.
go after it, and then you know, learn along the way. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So we kind of talked about kind of the vulnerable moments and the obstacles along the way. I want to talk about actually, I'm sure it was a really good moment for you. I noticed the Seattle Times actually did a piece on you and King Philly's cheesesteak.
Yeah.
How was that? How did that come about? How did that feel? Obviously, I mean.
Well, I mean, it was great because you know, it gave us a big jump in business, you know, in that time period or whatever. But as far as like how it came about, I mean, I didn't do no promoting, nothing as far as the business goes. Like I haven't put not a promotional bone into it. So, you know, it just came out of nowhere.
Wow.
You know, they showed up, wrote the article, and you know, that was that.
I think, man, it could be, you know, and especially in that area, like you said, there's not a lot of new, fresh, you know, establishments coming up like this, especially black owned, you know. So I think them seeing that, especially in the midst of all this gentrification, they're like, oh shit, we got to get on this.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing, man. You got to plant your roots, you know, and build it up for sure.
Yeah. So you've been open for like a year now, right?
Yep, we just had our grand opening or not our grand opening, our 1 year anniversary on June 3rd. Yeah.
Yeah, how was that?
I mean,
I was there for a little bit, so it was dope. But,
Rhetorical question. Yeah.
man, it was tiring, man. Like we pretty much offered free sandwiches for our 1 year anniversary. I think we gave out probably like 550 sandwiches, and then
What?
yeah, and
Damn, that's a lot of sales.
yeah.
yeah, and then we took some food to the UGM downtown and stuff, you know,
Okay.
trying to give back.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, man. I
what's up.
wasn't able to pull up, but I seen it on IG Live. It was
Yeah.
jumping. Y'all had DJ, our guy DJ Servo out
Servo.
there.
Shout out
spin,
Servo, man.
mixing.
He made it.
And I think that's the biggest thing, man. I think it's exciting. I remember when the restaurant opened, it was just a lot of excitement. Whether it was in, the Habesha community or just the
Yeah.
black community in general, like just seeing something new.
Yeah.
Seeing us doing our own thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, man. And I think, is there people that reach out to you now for advice, the same way you kind of were reaching out to Doobie?
Well, I mean, there's a couple of people, but I don't really give out my phone number like that. So people
Catch me on the street.
Yeah.
Catch me in traffic.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, well, hey, man, people gonna be knocking at your door after this one. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, it's good. I'm not really against giving advice and all
Yeah,
that, but if you're actually making the effort to do it and stuff like that, I don't mind helping. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
If they got a plan at execution.
yeah, because there's a lot of people that say I want to do this, I want to do that, but then 2 years later you're still talking about the same thing.
Mhm.
So,
Bring that execution.
Yeah.
Bring that plan.
At
Yeah.
least take that first step.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So
Nah, definitely. And then I want to talk about with King Philly's, right?
Mhm.
I want to ask you a question. What's your favorite thing on the menu? And then we'll get to you.
be real, I like the original cheesesteak with the spicy though.
Okay.
Yeah.
With the jalapenos and shit in there.
So I
fire.
asked that question because in the Seattle Times article,
Mhm.
they also mentioned that you guys are the Wing Kings.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that. Talk about some of the items on the menu for those who are listening and watching, so they know. Get their mouths watering and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I told y'all I was hungry and shit, bro. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let them know.
we got the usuals, the chicken and the original steak and stuff like that, but we try to go. So we got like spicy wings and spicy cheesesteaks, but I didn't want it to be where I try to cater to the community, and I know people can handle spicy and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
So I try to make sure that it's actually spicy and
It's not false advertisement.
Yeah, not-
Oh, it's spicy.
Okay.
not bland and shit like that.
Yeah, definitely. Nah, man, I just remember from reading that article, the headline literally said, "King Philly Cheesesteak is actually a Wing King." So that's dope, man. And I think it's crazy, man, because you start with this, and then who knows where it can go from here.
Yeah.
I remember even in the Doobie interview when he said he started with Cafe Oval, and now he serves on the board of advisors for the mayor's office for small businesses.
Yeah.
You never know where something can go. But ownership is key, man.
Yeah.
Having your own.
Us being like immigrants and first generation and stuff like that, when we come to this country, we don't really have a foundation that that will help support us, follow our dreams and all that. So, I always say you pretty much gotta fake it till you make it. Do whatever you have to do in order to get to that level, to where, because right now the level that I'm at, it could all fall apart, or it could take me to great things or whatever. But I have to build a foundation first to where my future generations, kids, whatever it is, has a stepping stool, on the game or whatever.
Yeah,
So
that's key, man. I think that's the thing, man. Like, you just have to attempt. I
Yeah.
think a lot of us don't attempt. I think the
Yeah.
attempt in itself is a win,
Yeah.
And like you said, I'm sure I'm sure like you look at the white folks and they probably got generations of family members who's tried to do something. Maybe it failed, but just hearing stories of, oh, your grandfather started his business. It tanked, but he started his business. That starts planting seeds in you early. Like, okay, well, I mean, I know it's possible because my family lineage is full of entrepreneurs, you know? So I think, like I said, the attempt in itself, and I think that's going to be something powerful for the generations to come. For sure. That's dope. Definitely. Now, you said you guys celebrated your 1 year anniversary, and I'm sure there's a ton of stuff you experienced in that 1 year.
Oh yeah.
You don't got to go into all of it, but but like, what are some things you learned along the way? Some things that maybe for future or for potential entrepreneurs who need to know, in your first year, this and this is what you got to make sure you're keeping your mind on.
Well, I mean, for me, I've been blessed because, I don't have to be there every day for the day-to-day operations.
Okay.
My sister, she's been holding it down since we first opened.
Okay.
So
shout out to the sister.
Yeah, I gotta give all the credit to her.
She
Me
grinding.
Yeah, me. I try to do more like the technical stuff, making sure that everything is, everything gets done right as far as like the business side. So, the hardest part is making sure that you pay your taxes. Taxes, they don't care. They'll reach their hand in your bank account and take everything that you have, and
Yeah, I think that's real, man. That's real. And that goes back to like kind of the education and prepping yourself before you get into business. Know this is what's required, and this is kind of like what you need to stay upon, for sure.
And it's crazy because everybody has a hand in your pot. So, just because you make a lot of money as far as restaurant industry goes, you have to pay a lot. You got to pay L&I. Seattle is like, it's hard to do for small businesses in Seattle because not only do you have to pay your workers minimum wage, which for the food industry is $11.50, plus they have to make a minimum of $3.50 in tips. So you're pretty much paying, was that $14.50, $15 an hour, and you got to pay that. You got to pay your L&I taxes. You got to pay sales tax. You got to pay soda tax.
God damn, Uncle Sam, bro, lay off of shit.
That's just them.
That's crazy.
And
man.
then I got an accountant where they I pay them like $500-600 a month, and they pretty much handle all that, but that's just another bill. So it's crazy. You probably take home like 20-25% after it's all said and done, as long as you got all your, like, if you got to price your menu outright or whatever, because if you don't, then you're just chasing your tail, trying to make it. So
and that, I mean, that's big, man. That's key
right there.
That's key.
For
That's
real.
key, man. That's key for anybody who's listening and watching who wants to go into the food service industry or any business, bro. You just gotta be on your P's and Q's. You gotta know what's expected. Because ain't, like you said, those roadmaps ain't out here for us. Yeah, man. And you shouted out your sister. I'm sure. I saw that you're putting on the younger generation as well, giving them jobs, giving them opportunities. How's that?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty much open to hiring anybody, but if I could help, like, I mean, there's been people that get out of jail and they need a job. I'm all for it. As long as you come, show up to work, do what you got to do, and leave. It's a job, so I'm happy to help. Whoever.
Yeah.
So
it's opportunity, man. Just because regardless of what you've been through, what you've done, everybody deserves a chance, right? Everybody deserves that. Even call it a second chance, you know. And sometimes it's not a second chance. Sometimes they just got fucked over. You know what I'm saying? And it might be their first chance. So that's powerful, man. That's a powerful message for sure. I love to hear that, man. And so I kind of want to I always ask this question. You know, I'm sure you know if you've seen the show.
Go for it, man.
But no, it's a dope question because it gives you a chance to talk about everything, to sum up everything you kind of just shared with us today, and kind of what you got ahead and what's ahead for you, you know. But if you can, my guy, what is one word to describe what keeps you on the up and up?
I would have to say vision. You know, making sure, you know, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. You know, set goals, make sure that, you know, my goals are being met. And if they ain't being met, why ain't they being met? And, you know, I just try to make sure, you know, I know what I'm working for. So,
Clear vision.
yeah.
Man, that's
For sure.
That's 2 words. But
they get the point.
yeah.
bold vision. Nah, man, I appreciate that, man. We definitely appreciate you for coming through, man.
Yeah.
You know, we appreciate and cherish every guest we have because
Always.
every story is unique.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody's like Teddy, right? Nobody got that story that you got.
Yeah.
And so thank you, man. Appreciate it. And
Oh, one more thing.
Oh, yeah, what you got? What you got? Oh, no.
Where's King Philly at?
yeah, let them know. How can they reach you? How can they get there?
King Philly is located in South Seattle, Rainier and Kenyon, 7820 Rainier Avenue South. We got a food truck going, so
Ooh.
look out for that.
Okay. We moving.
Yeah,
Uber Eats and all that?
Yeah, we do Uber Eats, Postmates, Grubhub. We're looking into a second location downtown, so, you know, be on the lookout for
Wow, that's
Ooh,
powerful, man.
that's
And yeah, man, if
big.
you're in South Seattle, if you're not in South Seattle, whatever, man, get out there, go support us, go support our own, and get some good food, man. It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It's good. If it's
Yeah,
too
you
spicy
know.
for you, then we know you got something, right?
that. Yeah, I mean, we could tone it down.
We can tone it
Hey,
down.
tone
Bro.
that a
Tone it
little
down. But nah, man, we wish you much success, bro, with everything you got going. I know you, obviously, you ain't stopping anytime soon. And
I appreciate you guys having me, man.
yeah,
Always,
definitely.
man.
And yeah, man, you're officially a member of the Up and Up, my guy.
Yes, sir.
Round of
Thank you.
applause for my guy, Teddy Leake. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, bro.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yes, sir.